We just finished our runway fashion event for Bold, and now photographers were swarming the red carpet, snapping away as usual.
Strike a pose for me, Lila. Beautiful, Lila! Over here, please!
I looked over at Maggie, who'd suddenly stiffened like a mannequin, and quickly whispered into her ears, "Smile, you look gorgeous." But then,
Maggie, can you move to the side, please? You're blocking Lila.
Maggie looked so uncomfortable at the comment that she slowly began stumbling backward, struggling to keep up a smile. Oh no, Maggie! Hey, that was very rude. Don't you have any common sense? I held Maggie's hand and ran backstage. Ignore them, Maggie. You're beautiful. That's why you're one of Bold's top models. Easy for you to say. Look at you. Of course someone as perfect as you wouldn't understand. But I wasn't perfect. And I knew she'd never believe me unless I showed her. So, with a racing heart, I reached for a wet wipe, about to take off the mask. Literally. But before I could even blink, Mom stormed in and dragged me out of there. Hi, I'm Lila, and apparently I'm both a top model and a PR crisis in disguise. A special title, courtesy of my flawless mother, who also happens to be my boss. Let me explain. My mom is the CEO and founder of Bold, a global beauty empire, and the true definition of Cruella de Vil in couture. She loved to be in control of everything and everyone, even managing my life like one of her campaigns. Always camera ready. And as the face of her brand, I had one job. Be perfect. But here's the thing. I wasn't. Not even close. See, I was born with this huge birthmark on my face, and Mom's made it her personal mission to cover it up. For as long as I could remember, I had an army of makeup artists following me around everywhere. At school, on dates, at the mall. Upon Mom's command, they had to make sure my makeup forever stayed intact. And if they weren't around, Mom had backup plans. For example, during a trip in Paris, I wanted to relax a bit before the hectic schedule started again. I thought I could go outside barefaced as long as Mom didn't find out, just for a few minutes. But the second I touched the sidewalk, someone unexpectedly leapt out of the shadows and plopped a giant flower hat on my head. Instantly, a swarm of paparazzi showed up, clicking away for photos while I stood frozen, unable to move since that hat was so large it instantly blocked off most of my sight. Just when I tried to lift the hat up, as if on cue, Mom started out in full couture. Sunglasses the size of small planets, posing like it was the Met Gala, her hand placed on top of the hat, locking it in place. Special announcement for Bold's newest beauty campaign, in collaboration with a Parisian fashion brand, starring my daughter, Lila. Pose, darling. How was I supposed to pose when I couldn't even see anything? I had to get out of there, stat. I turned around and ran back to the hotel. But with the flower hat still on my head, I tripped and landed in front of a pair of shoes.
Whoa! Did you just rob a flower shop, or?
Awesome! I just embarrassed myself in front of a cute Parisian guy. He extended his hand toward me and helped me up. I subconsciously held the flower hat closer to my face to hide my blushing cheeks. A split second later, Mom caught up to me. Good! You two have met. We have a fashion campaign to plan. Wait, what? Mom knew him? After having makeup piled back onto my face again, Mom gave me an earful about my carelessness. Then she wasted no time and immediately got me ready for a new campaign. This is Leon, your new personal photographer. I hired him for another project, but looks like he'll be starting with this improvised campaign now, thanks to your reckless act. That's just like Mom, to scold me and to create a new business opportunity, both in one go. In 3 hours, Mom landed a collaboration with a prestigious Parisian couture brand, just because I almost made my bare face public. After that, I stopped fighting. She'd made one thing clear. She'd spin everything to keep up the perfect image of her brand. At least now there's Leon here too. Yeah, I know, he worked for Bold, so I should keep things professional between us. But how could I stay nonchalant when he's the one taking my photos, calling me beautiful and smiling at me every day?
You really are the prettiest girl in the world.
Keep saying that and I'll turn into a full-blown diva. Anyway, you've never seen my real face. I'm actually not that pretty. Leon was quiet for a moment.
I know the real you, Lila. And you're beautiful.
What do you mean? Suddenly, Leon grabbed my hand.
Come with me.
Minutes later, we pulled up outside a rundown building that looked one sneeze away from collapsing. We sneaked through a creaky door into a huge dusty dome filled with star charts, lonely constellations, and a giant grated vent on the floor.
Welcome to the Wind Chamber, my personal one-stop wind down.
Okay, but, how does it work? Leon ran to a corner, flipped a switch, and whoosh! Warm air blasted through the floor. In seconds, my hair was up in the air, and I couldn't stop laughing. Leon laughed with me while snapping some pics of us. I felt so happy and free, being here with him right now. How did you even know about this place?
This was my granddad's favorite place when he was younger. The sky view from here is the best. He took me here all the time when I started taking up photography.
I like that. It's a cute story. Later, we looked at the photos Leon took at the planetarium. Let's just skip those. I look silly.
No way. This is you. Carefree and full of laughter. And you're beautiful. I see you, Lila. Beyond the makeup and the polished photo shoots.
Yeah, but that's not... When he tucked my hair behind my ear and leaned in closer, my heart was racing. Was he going to kiss me? Suddenly, my phone rang. Great timing, universe. I picked up the phone to hear a friend frantically telling me to check the latest viral news. Oh God!
Isn't that Maggie?
Photos of Maggie barefaced with a burn scar on her forehead were blowing up online.
Whoa, that scar's kind of brutal. Poor girl.
My stomach tightened. Her scar was faint compared to the birthmark I was hiding. And yet, he noticed. I gotta go. I bolted. Leon called after me, but I dared not turn around. Maggie and I weren't exactly close, but her situation was something I was all too familiar with. I tried reaching her phone, but she wouldn't answer. After being dragged and made into memes online, Maggie was faced with even more judgment the next day when she showed up for our photo shoot. The crowd outside the building booed loudly while paparazzi bombarded her with questions. I wanted to head out and shield Maggie from the public's eyes. But just when I got up from my seat, Mom waltzed in, frowning.
What do you think you're doing?
Maggie's hurting. I need to comfort her.
No need to bother. She's no longer a model for Bold.
Huh? You fired her?
We strive for flawlessness, and she simply doesn't represent that.
If we're a problem to you, then why hired us in the first place? Why made me the face of your brand? I'm so tired of having to conceal myself away all the time, Mom. I don't want to live like this forever.
I built this brand to help us have the life we do now. Be more grateful.
I was in disbelief. How could she do this? So I ran out and bumped into a crying Maggie. Maggie! Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. You don't deserve to be treated like that. You don't have to pity me, Lila. You wouldn't get it anyway. Only perfect girls like you can stay with Bold. I need to go now. Maggie, wait! But Maggie had already ran off. Mom had gone too far this time. For the sake of her beauty empire, a girl's confidence was completely tarnished. I thought of a plan to free myself and overthrow Mom's artificial idea of perfection. But to do that, I needed to confront my fear first. Hey, Leon? I was ready to let him in on the truth. Yet, part of me was still afraid of how he might react. I removed my mask as he turned around. He looked at me for a second, his eyes widening. Then, he got up and hugged me. Why aren't you saying anything? Don't you see the huge mark on my face?
Lila, I'd already seen it in Paris. The hat slipped when you tripped. I just didn't bring it up because I wanted to wait until you're comfortable enough to tell me yourself.
So this whole time?
I meant it when I said I'd seen the real you. And she's beautiful.
My brain short-circuited. Here's a boy who saw me and accepted me for who I was. And the way he smiled at me gave me butterflies. But wait, the plan first, romance later. I told Leon about it. He was being the sweetest boy ever and listened attentively. We took some photos of me barefaced, and later that night I posted them online anonymously. Then, all hell broke loose. And sure, the internet was eating up the drama again. But then things quickly got out of hand, even more than I had expected. Investors bailed, endorsements vanished, sales tanked, and Mom was furious. When she called me into the room, I thought I'd be getting her full rage. But instead, "You fired Leon? Why?" "I saw the photos on his camera, Lila. Why would you pose barefaced for him?" "Did he blackmail you? Or trick you somehow?" "Mom, nobody tricked me. Leon didn't—" "Shh, it'll all be all right soon, dear. I'll make sure nobody ever wants to hire him again." And just like that, she walked off muttering into her phone. Oh no, Leon's career was about to go down the drain. All because of me. He was only trying to help me because he wanted me to be happy with my true self. But how could I celebrate my so-called freedom if someone else had to pay the price? I had to do something. It had been a few days since the incident and the buzz hadn't died down yet. Mom was focusing all her attention on solving the brand crisis, while Leon, I hadn't been able to contact him since. But it'd all end today. That's why I called for a press conference. As I went up to speak, I saw Leon among the sea of reporters. He gave me a weak smile, but I could tell he hadn't been all right. I had to fix this, quickly. Hi, I'll keep this short. That's my real face in the photos. No edits, no filters, and I leaked them myself. I've been living a lie and hiding myself under an unrealistic image of perfection. Then, chaos erupted in the room. I stepped away, grabbed a wipe, and erased the makeup, revealing the mark on my face. There was no turning back now. The cameras were clicking away frantically as I continued my speech. My intention with the leaked photos was only to free myself from it. I never expected things to blow up like this and affect people I care about. So I'm here today to set the record straight. There was nothing wrong with it in the first place. My birthmark or Maggie's scar. The real problem was the cover-ups. And more than that, the shame and pressure to do so. Yes, I should have never lied about it. But the world made me feel like I had to. And that's what needs to change. As I spoke, I glanced over to the side and saw Mom stumble backward, her face pale and her trembling hands raised up to cover her mouth. I never thought my strong, stone-cold, bossy mom could look so vulnerable. My chest tightened. I was betraying her trust, stomping on the empire she spent her life building. I hurt her. That night, guilt had me in a chokehold, so I went to Mom's room to apologize. She was sitting at her makeup desk. Since the press conference, she'd been unusually quiet. She didn't even scold me for either leaking the photos or the sudden reveal of my birthmark to the press. Something else was bothering her. I was just about to knock when something I saw in the mirror shook me to the core. Mom had a secret of her own too. A huge one at that. 2 days later, Mom arranged another press conference. The reporters all seemed confused, and to all of our surprise, Mom stood on stage, taking a wipe to remove her makeup, revealing a birthmark just like mine. The room once again erupted in chatter. My daughter's courage reminded me of a truth I buried long ago. I have the same birthmark. I spent my life hiding it, ashamed, afraid, convinced I couldn't be beautiful unless I erased it. When Lila was born with the same mark, I let fear win again. I tried to protect her by doing what had hurt me. But her bravery showed me what real beauty is. The strength to be proud of who you are. She paused, breaking down and sobbing into her hands. The room fell quiet while I walked over and held her hands. I'm so sorry, Lila. And I'm so proud of you for being braver than I've ever been. I hugged her tight, feeling tears welling up in my own eyes too. The next couple of days were crazy. The press conference went viral and public opinions began shifting. Some people still called us names, but the majority praised us for owning up to our mistakes. Mom and I rebranded Bold. She even asked Maggie and Leon for forgiveness and offered them their jobs back. We got new investors, and the brand is now better than ever. Instead of the stiff, dull-faced ideal of perfection, we now strive to endorse authenticity and natural beauty. Because we might not be perfect, but we're bold, and we're proud of who we truly are.